Shalom, shalom. All praises be to the Most High. I'm actually out and about, so you may hear some noise in the background. Please bear with me. Now, in today's video, I don't really have a particular topic to talk about, but I just want to go, I guess you would say a rant. It's like a rant video. So the first thing I want to mention in this video is that family, they walk amongst us. They walk amongst us. Now, who are they? Now, for those of you who have been with me for a while, you oftentimes hear me say that those other nations of people, if you will, are not like us, right? I don't even want to say they're not humans because that word human is actually ambiguous. You know what I mean? These are words that they create and with their meaning, you know what I mean? But let's just put it this way. Mankind, right? There are different kinds of mankind, a kind of man. Let me put it that way. Now, when you look at a melanated being, let's say a so-called African, right? Let's go back to an African because an African is like, to me, the purest, quote unquote, human there is. A lot of us here in America, even in the West Indies, we are actually watered down version of a human because we have the oppressor's DNA in us. You know what I mean? Like, for example, me, my mother, she's half Caucasian, not white, because there's no such thing as a white man or a black man. With different shades of brown, and there are different shades of red or pink. So let's look at an African, for example, a highly melanated African. And then you would look at, let's say, a European from Scotland, right? A Scottish individual with the red hair. You know how they have the red hair and the freckles. Now you look at these two people side by side. I wish I had an illustration to show y'all because I know a lot of y'all are visual. But you look at these two people, right? Just visualize these two individuals, a highly melanated, quote unquote, African, and a Caucasian, right? With they have, like I said, the Scottish people have a tendency to have like reddish hair with freckles, and their skin is like, in some cases, it's like pale, but some of them do have like a cherry-like complexion. So you look at these two individuals and you could clearly see the difference between the two individuals, that we're not, well, I can't say we, but they're not the same. A dark-skinned melanated African and a European from, let's say, Scotland with red hair. How can you say that we're the same people? No, we may be of the same mankind, a kind of man. In other words, we kind of have the same attribute, like, the same features as far as hands, nose, hair. But if you look at the complexion, even look at the makeup, even look at the continent of these individuals. When I say continent, I mean the facial features of these individuals. We're clearly different. So you got to ask yourself, where did the so-called Europeans came from? And where did the Africans come from? Now, of course, when you say African, the first thing you think about is a continent of Africa, which have about 52 countries. I'm not sure how many countries. I think it's 52 countries on the continent of Africa. Then you have the Europeans that came from the Caucasus Mountain, right? These are the individuals. These people actually came from a colder climate. And Africa is a warmer climate, and in the European continent, you have a colder climate. However, how do you explain these Europeans to look like man, look like a form of man? It's simply because at one point, family, the continents were connected. The plates, the tectonic plate, they always connected at one point. And over thousands of years, before that the continents start to break away from each other, you had man exploring the earth. At that point in time, the earth wasn't as cold as it is now, like how it's in like the Arctic and all of that. It wasn't as cold. So they was able to explore. As food became scarce, they migrated from, let's say, Africa. Now, I'm going to say something to y'all. It's going to sound a little bit bugged out and shit, right? But y'all could do your own research behind me. I don't really have any hard evidence of this theory that's going around. But a lot of people believe the Grand Canyon is connected to Africa. This is why there's a lot of places in the Grand Canyon you cannot go. It's restricted. Now, again, this video, let me just put that out there. Disclaimer, this is for entertainment purposes only, okay? This video is for entertainment purposes only. That's what I like to say, shit, right? So, family, again, they're saying that the Grand Canyon actually is connected to Africa. This is why a lot of the stuff that we see in Egypt and in Africa, we can see it in the Grand Canyon. The hieroglyphics, for example. There's hieroglyphics in the Grand Canyon. I've seen photos. I've seen video, right? Video evidence of these hieroglyphics. The same thing that you would see out there in Cairo, Egypt. You know what I'm saying? In the tombs and in the whatever they want to call it, pyramids or whatever. It's the same thing. You have pyramids here in South America. You have pyramids here in North America. You have pyramids here in the Americas, in the United States of America. You know what I mean? So it's nothing fascinating about Egypt, because there's actually pyramids here in the Americas that's actually bigger, believe it or not, than the ones out there in Egypt. The only difference is that these pyramids are covered up with mounds, like dirt, you know what I'm saying, like overgrown. And a lot of times they will hide, like there's certain areas here in the Americas that you cannot go to because it's restricted, because they want to hide certain things. Now people might say, well, why would they want to do that? Why are they hiding the fact that we're living not on a spinning globe, but we're actually living on a round disc? So look, just think of a Frisbee upside down, right, encased by water. So the ice wall that's in Antarctica is what encased the Earth. But they're telling you we're spinning on a round globe, spinning 1,000 miles an hour. And I showed y'all a video where I was on an airplane coming from, where was I coming from, Florida? No, I was coming from Jamaica, I think it was. And I showed y'all, I was literally, had the phone out the window. We was getting ready to land in BWI Parkway, BWI Airport. And I showed you how I had the phone out there. I'm in the air, and you can see the people on tarmac and shit. You know, the people guiding in the plane. They was walking around, driving around, and they was in view. So I'm saying to myself, if the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles, just visualize this shit. If the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour, and we're landing on a fucking one runway, how are we able to land perfectly on a spinning globe, spinning 1,000 miles an hour? Just think about this shit. It doesn't make any sense. I even made a experiment with my daughter, probably 4 years ago, where I had a tennis ball on a string, right? And I twirled the tennis ball on the string, and it was spinning. And I told my daughter to throw water on it, and the water was just flying off the motherfucking tennis ball. So how do you contain water on a spinning globe? And a lot of y'all gonna goofy to say, well, because of gravity. What is gravity? All this stuff that was taught to us, you know what I'm saying? In other words, all this stuff that we believe in was taught to us by these Europeans, right? Why are they teaching us this shit? Because they don't want us to know or believe that there is a higher power. Because if we realize that there is higher beings, right? Like the Elohim, for example, the gods, because there are many gods. That's why even in the Bible, the Most High said he's a jealous God and he don't want to us worshiping other gods. There are other gods, but he's the Most High power. And I question this God of the Bible that's jealous over his creation, because to me, if you are the God of all gods, if you created us, why would you be jealous over us worshiping another motherfucker? It didn't make, that's for another video. Let me not get off topic, because I know a lot of y'all gonna lose me on this video and shit once I start going off not believing in the Bible and shit, because the Bible was written by man. Do you realize how many centuries they had to rewrite the scrolls, the original scrolls that our ancestors left behind? You really think they're gonna give y'all verbatim information? No, they're not. You know what I'm saying? They canonized what they want to canonize. They took out the book of Enoch. They took out the book of Jubilee, the Apocrypha, all these different books they took out of the Bible. Why? Why? Ask yourself why. Because they don't want to expose themselves. A lot of these so-called Europeans that you see walking around, not all of them, are not human beings. They're not. This is why their skin complexion looks totally different than ours. Where did it come from? Now, of course, the blonde hair and the blue eye, that's indignant to us, because we, there's actually people out there, black people that actually have blonde hair, believe it or not, and blue eyes. So the eyes color and the hair color is not from them, but that skin complexion is very unique. Because when the Most High created man, he formed it from the ground, blew the breath of life, man became a living soul. He created he created us with melanated skin. Now back to the Africa theory. Out of Africa theory, where the Africans walked on the straits and went into Europe, they came across a creature they call them troglodytes, right? It was some creature-like beings. A lot of people believe that these were offspring from the fallen angels that fell from from grace. In the book of Enoch, it tells you, even in the book of Genesis, right, the fallen angels came down and they slept with the daughters of men. They created their own offspring. That was referred to as the troglodytes, right? Then the troglodytes pretty much had interaction with human being, the creation of the Most High, which are man, right? Adam, okay, Adam descendants, and they came, and their offspring now were what you refer to as the Neanderthals. If you want to know what a Neanderthal, just Google what a Neanderthal, go on the image, and you see what a Neanderthal is. It looked like the so-called white man, right? And then the Neanderthal kept amalgamated or mixing with human beings, and then the Neanderthal now start to have offspring, which is now your modern day Europeans. Okay, this is why they have the same characteristics as a Neanderthal. They even like to call themselves Neanderthal. They have the same characteristics. They like to hunt. The Neanderthal were hunter-gatherers. They like to hunt and shit. And they couldn't come out in the daytime because of the sun, because of the eye pigmentation. They didn't have any melanin in their eyes, so they couldn't come out in the day, but they came out at night. They were night foragers and hunters. And of course, after thousands of years, only go as far as thousands of years, hundreds of years of evolution, by continuing to mix with us and shit, then they start to develop more of a tolerance to the sun, right? Because a lot of white people have recessive genes. They talk about they're white supremacists, they're supreme. What's so supreme about y'all? I can't even go in the goddamn sun. And I could talk about white people because I'm mixed with white. My mother's half motherfucking white. That means I'm a quarter white man. Okay, I mean, I have a dark-skinned complexion because my father was highly melanated and shit with like Indian hair. But at the end of the day, I could talk about white people. I could talk about so-called Jewish people because I am the real motherfucking Jew, right? I profess myself as a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Judah, okay? So family, when I say they walk amongst us, there's a lot of hybrids that walk amongst us. There's a lot of reptilian shapeshifters. And what's happening now, the Most High, or I guess you call it the Anunnaki or whatever, our ancestors now is starting to, it's a shift in the universe. It's a shift in the universe, and now these devils will be exposed for what they are. Even Trump, look at Trump. Don't you see how he's dwindling, how he's literally exposing his true identity? A lot of these people are not even human beings. They look, when I guess you were saying in the younger days, they look a little bit attractive, but as they age, they start to show what they are. They camouflage, right? That's the word. Camouflage is starting to break down. So you start to see them for what they are. This is why they invented makeup. And a lot of black people, we wear makeup and shit. We don't need no motherfucking makeup. They need the makeup because they got to conceal their true identity. A lot of these devils drink blood, like Machine Gun Kelly, right? That white boy. He said he don't even know who his father is. He said he don't even know how old he is. These are fallen angels' offspring, family. Machine Gun Kelly, fucking bitch. They drink each other blood. They drink each other blood. I kid you not. And remember what the Bible says in the Old Testament. It says life is in the blood. This is why I believe personally, and I know they're going to definitely flag this motherfucking video, right? And I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it anyway because this is for entertainment purposes only. I made a video when I asked a question. Why is it that they need so many pints of blood when you go for a checkup, they draw your blood, right? Why do they need all these pints of blood? And some may say, well, they need to check for certain disease. So why you need that many vials of blood? And after you check for the disease, what do they do with these blood? Right? You have thousands and thousands of people going to the doctor annually, getting their blood drawn. What are they doing with these blood? Now you could actually go into these places and actually sell your blood, your plasma. What are they doing with these blood, family? Who are actually benefiting from having your blood draw? It's just a question. This is only entertainment purposes only. Now, I'm going to stop the video because I'm about to go, and I'm actually in D.C. I'm about to go into a function But I want to make another video following up with this video to explain why am I saying that they walk amongst us, because I want to go into something that's a little bit bugged out, right? A little bit controversial, but I guess I could say I have receipts to back it up. With that, I say peace and blessings. Shalom.